And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Intel Gamer Days Community Cup for Valorant. And we're going to be starting off with the round of 32. It's going to be your boy, Aggressive here, bringing you all the action. And we are in for a blast of the past pretty much because Salty is back on the desk. And it's been centuries since I see my main boy out here.
I mean, it's not been centuries, bro. It's been just a couple of years, man. I
No,
remember
centuries.
centuries. I mean, yeah, you definitely look old, but apart from that, I am excited, bro. I'm so excited to actually do Valorant after a while because it's been a very long time. I've seen some good Valorant gameplay. So when people from Intel and everyone else and the production team, when they reached out to me and they were like, all right, are you going to cast some Valorant? I was like, sounds like a good idea. I was like, who am I casting with? They're like, Aggressive. I'm like, oh, no, bro. But no, man, jokes about. I love you, my boy. I think people got to understand this, that aggressive is my brother from another mother. He is a bro, so he understands me and I understand him. It's a connection that we have, but that is not the main motto of the day. The main motto of the day is the prize pool that people are going to earn
Absolutely.
while playing Valorant aggressive. Isn't that amazing?
Absolutely. 3 lakh on the line, with the first place getting 2 lakhs, with the runner-ups getting 1. Sadly, there is no third place, but no one should be going to that third place position if you are reaching for the very top. Jumping over to the formats, ladies and gentlemen, of course, we're going to be starting from ground zero, which is going to be the qualifier stage with a single eliminations bracket. And here is where a lot of teams will be bowing out, and only the best teams are going to be able to make it to the very top.
You know, the beauty of best of ones is that you don't really get a chance to adapt to the opposition, right? You have to play according to your strengths. And if it does work out, you move on. If it does not work out, you've got to give it to the opposition. Playoffs onwards, I feel like things are going to get a little easier. But then when you have the grand finals, it's a best of 3. I feel like that is going to be a pretty good encounter.
Yeah, absolutely. But when you consider it being a best of 3 and not a BO5, pretty much all of the teams will now know what the other is really going to be playing, and there's not going to be a lot of those uncomfortable maps that people generally don't want to get into, especially with the new maps being added into the side of Valorant. I still haven't really gotten a full grasp on what the new maps is going to be playing like, so I'm going to be really excited to see what the pros are going to be doing for that one. But I do believe that Valorant right now is possibly in the best meta that it could be. But because there's no single broken agent anymore, especially after the whole Tejo meta that came in a couple of months prior, after his recent nerfs, I would say that almost every agent in the entire game has seen proper play, and people have finally started to figure out that, hey, Omen is one of the most strongest and the most powerful character in the entire game.
I definitely agree. I think back in those days when I used to play Valorant, man, Omen was my first pick. You know why? Because he just looked cool, man. I don't care about his smoke covers. I don't care about his teleports. But teleports were definitely cool. Omen as a character looked pretty cool as well. But you're talking about maps. I live in a professional bootcamp. I've seen Revenant X Park practice and play throughout their VCT tournaments and everything. And I kind of feel like that getting a grasp of the maps is something which even the pros can't really adjust to, because there are too many maps, there are too many agents, too many combinations. You just have to pick and choose, and you have to practice one. And I think aggressive, like we said, it's going to be a best of 1, so you don't really get a lot of opportunities. You pick your strategy, you practice it well, you apply it, and you execute it well. I think that is the only mantra for success.
Absolutely. Well, especially because with the maps now being rotated in and out, depending on what the situation has been, I do believe that recently Icebox was taken out of the map pool and was now put back in. So a lot of teams are now going to be happy about that, because Icebox has been a big thorn on the sides of a lot of these Indian teams. Like, I'll be honest with you, everyone hates Icebox in this current meta, especially after the recent reworks and the double controller meta. That is what's been happening, because Icebox has now been dominated by the double controller meta, and everyone that I know, at least, playing pro just doesn't want to see this map anymore. They would rather play Abyss, which arguably is one of the much more hated maps in the entire scene.
I mean, to be honest, yes, I agree with you. Abyss has probably been utilized much more, because the recently concluded VCD Pacific circuit, which I was casting, I saw Abyss almost in every single best of 3, or if there's a best of 5, they are always going to play Abyss, right? Icebox, I don't know why people hate it. I personally love it, because it's one of my favorite maps. But apart from that, I agree with you. The double controller meta, I feel like that is something which was the trademark for Icebox, but then I want maps to have their signature styles. I want maps to have their signature meta compositions. And Icebox having a double controller meta is kind of like suited for me, because I love playing a controller. I love to have spaces on the maps which are under my control. You know, having that slow game, not something which like a double duelist does. Just move in, push in, and try and, you know, throw those guns at your face. I want to kind of build things strategically. So that is one of the reasons why I kind of liked Icebox. But now that it's gone, I am genuinely excited to find out which map are we playing tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be quite interesting, to say the least. I do believe that we already have the map selection for this one, as it seems as though we're going to be going in for the good old litmus test that we always know and love from back in the day. Ascent might be just our map pickup for both of these teams, so I'm kind of excited, but at the same time, I hate myself, because Ascent, yeah, the map selection has the agent selection, sorry, has gotten a little bit better on a sense, so we don't see the exact same thing over and over again. But I don't really know if the teams in our region have really started to pick up on it, because don't forget, this is still the round of 32. You can't really go in for something experimental. Will they go in for the tried and true tested compositions, or will it be something different? That's where we're going to be here to find out.
I think with Ascent, the only two ways to actually look about it is possibly a double initiative composition, or maybe like a double duelist composition if you are that aggressive. And going ahead with that, I feel like teams will definitely have to rely on their individual strengths. Individual strengths, by that I mean on their mechanical skills. Now, since this is the round of 32, yes, there are going to be pro teams, but there are going to be some teams who are still trying to, be in that semi-pro, just above that amateur level. They start to, move out into the professional circuit. So I genuinely feel that there is going to be like a mechanical differences, especially when we move on, not especially from the first game itself. But yeah, man, I'm genuinely excited to find out what happens as soon as we move inside the game, because only when the game begins, I'll get a grasp on how well these teams are prepared. Are we actually playing a game of chess where things are strategic, or are we it's just a bug?
I mean, it could be a deathmatch server. You never really know, because looking at the teams that are going to be playing today, you're going to see a lot of the old names that we saw from back in the day as well coming on back onto the same team. Like, I'm pretty sure you remember these names, right? Asterisk, Rat Syndicate, Chill Cord, all of the old names from back in the day. They're all back here, ladies and gentlemen. And all of the big players are also going to be on this team, while we still have the teams that you also stated before, the teams that are kind of getting out of that tier 3 seed and now finally setting their foots onto that tier 2. A lot of the much more younger players now finally making their foothold in the Valorant scene are going to be able to get that chance on that big stage here in Intel Gamer Days. But it seems as though there are going to be a couple of more technical difficulties that we have to go through before we're able to jump into the game, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be taking a very short little break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with a lot more Valorant action. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, for the Intel Gamer Days Community Cup for Valorant. And we are back with a little bit of a sad news. Sadly, the first initial match will not happen. Hades has decided to go in for a forfeit as one of their players did not show up. And sadly, there's nothing really that we can do about it. I was really excited to see Chillcore play today because they had Techno, DC, Hella, Vedka, Coley, a lot of big names on their side. We could have watched them play here for the round of 32, but sadly, we are not going to be able to. But it's okay, ladies and gentlemen, because we still have the second game. Hopefully not going to be an FM because Rat Syndicate is going to be playing there up against losers. So Salty, I'm really excited for that one.
I'm definitely excited, but Rat Syndicate is a name that I'm hearing after a long time. But who are they playing against and why are they called losers, bro? I mean, it does not make sense. I mean, if you are going to form a team about yourself, you would possibly write something like, generational winners. Why would you go for losers? Anyway, Chalk that. I hope that we don't see another forfeit, because again, we want to see competition. I want to see real competition, and I want to see people actually strive for the 3 lakh rupees, because I feel like, yeah, sure, when you consider it to the larger Valorant tournaments out there, you might feel like, it's all right, I can forfeit. But then, the competitive spirit matters a lot, and I value that a lot. Every small tournament matters when it actually adds up to your confidence. So I want to see these boys play and actually give their A game.
Absolutely. We're going to need to see whether or not the second match is, of course, going to be happening, ladies and gentlemen. But as we are going to be waiting for all of that, make sure to check out all the links down below in the description, because in the celebration of the Intel Gamer Days, Amazon is giving an offer up to 40% off on select Intel Core-powered gaming laptops till the 31st of August. So make sure to check out all the links down below in the description if you want to catch yourself a big deal on any of that. And as we are going to be waiting for that second game, we're going to be back with you with a lot more Valorant action for the Intel Gamer Days. Don't go anywhere.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, for the Intel Gamer Days Community Cup for Valorant, round of 32. And of course, it's going to be over aggressive but salty to bring you all the action. Sadly, game number 1 did not happen. It was an FF from the side of Hades, but game number 2 is going to be happening from what we are told. Rat Syndicate versus the side of losers is where this entire tournament will start, and I'm really excited for this one.
I certainly am, because we are starting on a big map. Just got the information from production that we are going to be playing the map of Haven, and one of my favorites, again, aggressive. 3 sides, have a lot of options, definitely favors the attackers a lot more, but then if you do your compositions right, I think the defensive team also has a chance. I think Haven is one of those maps where you can actually call Valorant's home ground. Do you agree?
True. Absolutely, because Haven is where everything kind of started, right? And this is where a lot of the teams have really started to base a lot of their gameplay upon. And this is, I would say, one of those maps that really started the journey for a lot of the Valorant teams that we do know. I'm pretty sure you remember back in the days, we used to call this Deathmaker's home ground for a very reason. Like, this is the map where he kind of started off his career to be one of the best Valorant players in the entire country. And he still, to this day, is still at the top echelons on the entire scene. And for a lot of these teams, this is now that resurgence. This is now their chance to really put their mark here in this particular tournament, in the new era of Valorant, as we would like to say, because a lot of the old teams have started to slowly but surely fallen off, and a lot of the rising stars are now able to take that mantle up once again.
You know, one of the reasons why I feel like it's because there is a transition phase that's going on. Now, I've seen that transition phase in front of my eyes right now. One of the top dogs, you can say, one of the guardian angels of Valorant Esports, I'm talking about Antidote, just retired, right? And he's been mentioning this for quite a while, that it's the age factor that is coming into play, because majority of the professional players who were at the top echelon, they were actually competing in a different game, and they've been competing for like 10 plus years now. But now with Valorant stepping up, I feel like there's that insurgence of a lot of these new up-and-comers, these new players. For example, if I just have to give an example, would be Venka. Let's just go by that, right? He is a cracked duelist. Guy is like, what, 18 years of age, 17 years of age, and of course his reflexes. So you see all these new teams pop up, and all our gods and all our established legends are slowly deciding to fall off, and they're taking a very slow exit, which is very hard to kind of digest. But this is one of the reasons why I'm so excited to watch Intel Gamer Days, is because I feel like the opportunity is there for a lot of these new up-and-comers to try and set a ground for themselves.
Absolutely. And then you have other players like Tricky as well. That Tricky, when we first saw him all those years ago, it was such a big surprise to me that a player of this caliber just popped out of absolutely nowhere. And all of this kind of happened in the last 2 or 3 years, right? You can tell that the way that the game has evolved, the way that the game has adapted, a lot of these younger players are really just able to make their mark in towards the game. Then a lot of the older players are now those, I don't want to say father figures, but they're like the mentors of their of this younger generation now, and they've built them up to be absolutely incredible. We would have been able to see Venka play, just as you did mention it, if we did have our last game, but we still do have Tricky in this particular one, because Rat Syndicate is his team. So I'm really excited to see what Tricky is going to be able to bring onto the table, because he's been making waves in the entire scene, and he has improved drastically over the last couple of years. And particularly, I haven't seen him in tournament play just yet. I've mainly been seeing him on the Premier grind as often when he goes up against a lot of the other teams, but this time in particular, this is the big stage that he really needs to perform in, because in this round of 32, we keep on reiterating this, that this is a BO1, so there's no more second chances. You need to go big, or you're going to be the ones being sent back home.
Yeah, true that. And speaking of Tricky, I think man does not need a second chance, to be honest. I think I've spent a lot of time with him. He was a part of the Revenant Esports roster last season, which actually went on to Ascension. He was, and I saw his growth right in front of my eyes. So that man has a lot of talent, just like you mentioned. If it's a BO1, if things fall in right, he can single-handedly destroy the opposition. So I'm not sure what losers is made up of. And if they are not exactly what their name means, I hope they are, or rather they will be able to put up a fight.
Absolutely. This is where I really am.
No worries, no worries. I think basically what he tries to mean is that Tricky definitely will be one of the players to watch out for. But I still feel like I want to look at the side of losers. I want to get into the game as quickly as possible, like we had just discussed. Haven is going to be the map. Now depends on what sort of agent composition are we looking at. Now, if you were a Rad Syndicate, or possibly if you were losers aggressive, what according to you is the current meta for Haven? What combination do you think? Do you still feel like double controller is going to be the way to go because you have a lot of space to control, or do you think maybe it's a chance for all of these up and comers to show their gunpowder with the double duelist composition?
I do believe that it's gonna be a pretty big pickup for that one particular thing, but I do believe that we're gonna be able to pick up on this conversation after just a little bit because there is a couple of technical difficulties happening. So we're gonna be going for a very short little break, and we're gonna be back with a lot more Valorant action, ladies and gentlemen. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, with the Untitled Gamer Days Community Cup for Valorant. Hopefully, this is going to be the last time we go in for a technical break here, because it's been a long time coming. We had multiple different breaks that we did have to take. Sadly, the teams didn't want to start off the game early. The first one was an FF. We tried to start it earlier, but the teams didn't agree on it. So we are now here at the perfectly scheduled time. We're going to be jumping straight on into the agent selection in just a little bit here, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm really excited to see what the map of Haven will have in store for us. And going on back to the question that you had previously, Salty, before we went on this short little break, looking at the overall agent selection, I do believe that double controller is now one of the biggest points of contention for this particular map. Valorant now is probably in that double controller mindset for a lot of different teams, but one of the biggest differences will be this is a mixed group of players, right? They're not going to be completely in the zone, and they're not going to try to go in for any form of wacky strategies. Haven is a map that is very simplified, and looking at the overall agent selection, you can see that the much more simpler strategies are what both sides are going to be going in for.
You know, the best thing about this agent selection, do you know that? What is it, Aggie? All the agents, I know them. I am so happy that there is not an agent that I've never seen before. But honestly speaking, we kind of expected this. I personally feel like, because with Haven, I've seen this double initiator composition a lot, especially with Sova and Viper. It does give you that, not a Viper, pardon me for that, a Sova and a Breach, does give you that little bit of a headroom as well, because you need those reconnaissance, you need that information when it comes to the Sova. So makes sense. Tricky is obviously going to go with his default agent, and also on Rat Syndicate side, it's going to be Akambir. But you look at the man, the myth, the legend who is actually on Breach. It's going to be Paradox. I'm not sure why did they call themselves losers, but this is going to be a good game. I'm not sure if let's just call that guy F, if he is going to be able to match up, because Breach has a lot of responsibility. But we are inside of the game already.
Okay, Tricky's just going wild here already. Down to 3 players. He just pops everyone's head. The perfectly utilized stun coming in from Paradox, giving them all the space that they need. Going in for the last couple of shots here. And the weapons just keep on hitting. It's going to be Homeboy who goes in for that last kill. A couple of good friendly banter coming in between the players as Rat Syndicate. They're starting off with a perfect shebang here, ladies and gentlemen. As this initial fight just works out in their favor. First round goes in favor of them, and going into this anti-eco, it's just about keeping up the aggression.
But wait a second, what did we just witness, man? I mean, Tricky with the pistol, I did not expect him to be that sharp, but he got himself a corridor, and he also got himself a lot of information to work with. That was brilliant. And once again, we move on. The recon dart flows out. Get to see a little bit of information, do you? Nothing at all. A lot of fight happening in towards that mid window region, and Rat Syndicate, they just do not tend to stop. This team, of course, they had that economic advantage, but bro, respect to the opposition, that is not existent.
I mean, when you're that confident as players, are you really going to be expected to slow yourself down? Not at all. The speed at which these entries are happening, it's pretty much warranted, because you are going to be running on a Neon. You have a Neon and a Breach, so you can easily capitalize on a lot of the utility being utilized by Paradox. And Paradox, mind you, he was a player that was always known for his duelist previously, and now that he's shifted onto that much more support-heavy role, players like UV, especially now being that younger player, being the one who can really utilize his aim a lot more properly, that years of experience that Paradox has under his belt can just really be utilized to its fullest now. And in this BO1, I'm pretty sure that he's going to be one of those star players that will go unsung, but we know for a fact that a lot of the setups that they generally will go in for will be based upon him. Now, looking at the overarching round here, little bit of a fake towards the C side to try and bait out a couple of these players from the side of Rat Syndicate to go in for an over-rotation, and it may have possibly worked, because losers are trying to go in for a hit, and it's going to be a 1-for-1 trade for either side.
I love that, right? You needed that 1-for-1 trade at least to gain control of the site. Losers, they haven't had any sort of wiggle room whatsoever. Even now, they are struggling to venture onto the site. But finally, that frag coming in from Agambir, going big, by the way. But then again, oh boy, shotguns, judges at the face, delivers them the judgment.
what I do want to know is why did the breach not clear the corner on the right side? UV was just sitting there. I thought it was their own teammate for a second. I was like, wait, who's that person sitting on short? And then I realized, wait, that's UV from the side of Rat Syndicate. Neon just sat there rent free. And he just was able to find multiple kills based upon that. And Homeboy, just utilizing a lot of the space being given by the Neon and the information that he was giving him, just ran in towards the side with the judge in hand. This is what's going to happen from time to time, ladies and gentlemen, if losers don't really start to pick up on their overall communication. As UV looking for the fight, the aim rating supreme, knows that the weaker weapons is going to be a problem for them. Hayak tries to go in for the tap here with the Sheriff, but he's not going to be able to find it. Now slowing things down over to a call once again. It's going to be tricky, bringing down multiple more as UV just goes on to tap away, as this round all but over pretty much with the last 2 players remaining from the side of losers.
It's honestly painful to watch Aggressive at this point, because I feel like, yes, it's just been 4 rounds, but by the way losers have been playing, it kind of more or less is defined already what the result of this battle is going to be like. Now, look at this, right? No utility, no information. It's just a blind peek out of faith. Now, yes, sure, that is how we play casual Valorant, but when it actually comes to competitive Valorant, especially in front of players like Tricky, Paradox, UV, and everyone else, you won't stand a chance, especially in terms of mechanical fight. Now, this is the difference that I was talking about. A lot of basics being mistaken from the side of losers. They still need that competitive experience, but this time they decided to dash in onto that C side. They gain control of it, but I don't think that is control. That is just presence inside of the side disguised as a trap. And of course, the Rat Syndicate, they are going to chew them up. Flawless. I would say a flawless 5 rounds in the bag. It's not just a flawless round.
Yeah. That primarily is based upon the way that they're entering onto the side as well. In a lot of situations, the members of losers are not really utilizing their utility properly. They're trying to send themselves out and maybe look for a gunfight here, but the overall positioning from the side of losers, especially that cyber cage that was utilized by them right in the middle of the side, just didn't really give the Jet the amount of space that she could have wanted. And Jet, as of right now, has probably fallen off of the meta the most compared to all of the other duelists. Back in our days, right, we always used to see Jet being played on every single map, but not anymore, because her utility kit is just so far, like, very lackluster compared to all of the other characters in the entire game. And you can tell exactly why. Neon having that stun, having that ability to completely close the gap onto any player that quickly, utilizing the run, you just don't have that on anyone. And look at UV with the overall movement too as well. Godfather, he got his ankles broken for that initial engagement, and that's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. A trade that is favoring the side of Rat Syndicate, because they lost out on their Omen that early on in the round.
Now I think, of course, losers are trapped. They are trapped in this valley of air. And of course, UV is going to chew him up. Finds another one. Finally, Aggressive. The final nail in the coffin. Now this is going to be a quick affair, Aggressive. I don't see a single round going towards on the side of losers, because once again, I feel like at this point they need their fakes. They need their strategies to be set. I don't see a lot of variations in the way they strike. It's just deciding upon which side to hit, and they just plain and simple run into it. Now, for sure, maybe if you are aim heavy, you might actually be able to win your fight, especially in higher ranks as well. But when it comes to competitive gameplay, no way you're going to break up a side, especially when they're being forced down like this. And Homeboy this time has a judge equipped, and of course, no flashes, just a stun. Pure aim duel, which he's obviously gonna lose. Now look at that.
Okay,
what a timing.
Oh boy. Okay, this guy's just trying to movement his way out. Good God. They want to go in for a little bit of a nice shorty in hand for the side of Paradox. Movement gods for a reason, and the members of Rat Syndicate, they are confident about this one, as poor old losers just can't really keep up with the raw mechanical skill gap that the members of Rat Syndicate are showcasing for this particular BO1.
It's also the competitive experience, I feel like, Aggressive. It's not just the mechanical difference, but also the sheer experience of being able to participate in so many high-tier tournaments. Now, losers, for sure, this is going to be an experience, but I feel like Rat Syndicate, This time, I understand them completely because it's a Sunday. They want to chill out. They probably want to party as well a little bit. They want to finish things up pretty quickly. You don't get a
Okay.
headshot while sliding just like that. But the ultimate is out. Hunter's Fury is gonna find him. Now that is funny.
Okay.
Dude trades back to back though, but Godfather finds another one. He gets picked off. A 3v3 might actually work in their favor, but losers. They're still stuck in the middle of nowhere, and the spike has been dropped.
And the raid boss is waiting for them on the opposite side of the map here. The A side, not going to be that simple to break into with Tricky holding down the lines, especially with the utility still in the hands of the members of Losers. They still have a pretty good chance of trying to break into any of these side things. Playing it risky, needs to be careful, trying to go in for this engagement. I love the confidence coming in from Six, but this is dangerous. This one duel pretty much will guarantee them the round, or possibly be the biggest reason why they're going to be taking the loss here. Relax, it's going to be able to take a one, but good God, the shots are perfect coming in from the Cypher. They're looking for the last player. Vilgax now down over to the corner of the side of Garden. Sinks has the position, goes in for the double peek, and the shots are just so sublime. 8-0 as Rat Syndicate. They still hold down their lead.
Now, look at the confidence on these lads, right? Look at the skill gap. Now, Sinks, he knew this is a fight that he's supposed to lose because there are 3 men peeking down the window, but he does not care. He goes in for the duel. Sinks had 1 bullet to connect before his gun would have gone on to a reload. He manages to actually land a headshot with that. Now, this is the gap that I'm talking about. But what can losers do? Now, the only thing which they can possibly hope onto is to try and find a way to use their ultimates. Once again, the fault line does come through, but no space being bought, no players being taken down as of now, no flashes. What are you doing, Velgax? This is not how you play competitive. Valorant needs to fall back higher, at least finds one. UB has gone off the server as of now, but Paradox will find a way to revenge. 3v3.
Which was slow down. Okay, this is quite bad because Tricky's position, completely isolated and known. And he's going to get caught out. It's going to be the enemy Sova who gets the first initial catch on towards him. Vilgax's position, completely unknown. And Dustin looks for the shot. Vilgax is going to be able to find it. But now it's all up to Homeboy to try and go in for this clutch here. To the Rolling Thunder now in the hands of the Breach. This is going to be quite a difficult one for them to break into here. But a 1v2 situation that is not really that impossible because Homeboy back in the past has done this exact same thing. But the ultimate is this potent to try and break into. It's going to be a tough one for them to find.
I mean, the task for Homeboy is actually secured. He had to go in for those duels, knowing that these boys are not that well mechanically equipped. But this was also the first plant for losers, by the way, on their attacking side. 9 rounds on board already, but this was their first plant and their first round. Very well done, at least. It's not a clean sheet for Rat Syndicate. But having said that, I feel like that was also because of the fact that Vilgax found a couple of those players snapping. That position on towards that A wing, I feel like that was the position which got them the round victory. But not every time are you going to be able to sneak under the radar. If that does manage to happen, I feel like losers might get themselves a chance to get a couple.
Seems as though my boy Salty is having a little bit of an issue coming out from his end, but going on back in towards the game here once more, ladies and gentlemen, as I was saying, the members of Losers are finally really able to find that proper foothold that they needed. It took them a bit of time to finally figure out exactly what members of Rat Syndicate were really trying to pull off in these last couple of rounds, but now already, as soon as they start to figure things out, it's already going to be taking a back seat here. Vilgax already down over to the front lines here from the B side. He's able to find a pick off here. Stuns almost utilized perfectly. UV with the fast swing. Sings comes in with Paradox to come in for the backup. Last player already spotted. Goes in for a little bit of a spray here. They're trying to go in for the hunt, the kills, and as well. And never mind, that could have gone a little bit too bad here. Paradox in the corner lines. He just dodges out the blade storm and he survives. 9-1 as Rat Syndicate. A little bit dicey, but Losers, a good try indeed for this round.
My man, the fumble on the 2 players, it's kind of starting to hurt my brains already. Now look at this, Vilgax, he finds that frag. He fumbles a lot. UV almost gave up now. He has 5 knives on him, man, chokes hard. Parrot's like, what did you just do to me? You didn't even hit me. You had 5 knives. You wasted them all at once. That is not, bro. That is not how you do it. But never mind. Let's see
Yikes.
it. 11th round on board. UV finds another frag. Duelist to duelist. Cleans him up. Beautiful stuff. Recon dart. Really be of any use because at this point, Rat Syndicate, they're just playing on a playground.
Yeah, they know that this is an eco coming out from them as well, which will be a problem, but you have to worry about the Sober from the opposite team here. They're losing bodies pretty quickly, but Paradox with the shorty is just always that X factor that you have to worry about. 10-1, ladies and gentlemen, as the last round for this initial half. It's going to go through as Rat Syndicate. They could just be the ones to go over the 11-1 scoreline leading for their side.
I mean, the only way I think losers can actually deal with this is by taking it like a champ, try and maybe accumulate their ultimates. At this point, they have 3 very crucial ultimates, by the way. They have their Rolling Thunder in, they have their Hunter's Fury in as well. And if they want to switch things up, they have got the Omen ultimate as well. But how are they going to switch things up if losers commit their first bloods within a few seconds? The round starting once again. Look at this, trying to take a head-on battle, but this time UV with the electric shock is going to clean things up. He goes in for another one. Philgax, you knew it, my man. Paradox as well is going to strike. It's just one man from losers left, but that ultimate just got debated.
This is so smart. Oh, that he could have done it there, but Paradox, a little bit of a whip there coming out from his end, but the ultimate does save him for that one. As the Rolling Thunder comes to the rescue, but honestly speaking, that was a pretty good play coming in from Godfather there. If he was able to get that 1 kill over onto Paradox, and if Paradox didn't have that 6th sense to utilize that Rolling Thunder early, this could have been a round that went in favor of losers. It seems as though my boy Salty has disappeared into the stratosphere again. Oh, never mind, he's back.
No,
Welcome back.
I mean, I don't have to disappear in the stratosphere, bro. The losers are digging themselves their own grave at this point, and I feel like I was just trying to pick them up, to be honest. But it's hard, to be honest. Once again, Rat City.
Yeah,
look at the map, the way they storm through that mid side. B is under control already, and they have so many positions acquired already. Kills do come through. Agamvir trying to get his frags for himself, but Rat Syndicate, wow, now this is a confident strategy, right? You go down the middle without actually picking up the spike, hoping to get all the kills for yourself, but losers, they at times can come back to hit you, but Tricky knows to hit some tricky shots. I don't know how to pronounce his name. F. He managed to land the final one. That was amazing. But to be honest, for losers, I think this is going to give them some sort of a confidence that at least when it comes to pure aim duels, they can at least take those shots. They can at least get the ground even.
Absolutely. It seems as though they're a little bit more comfortable on their defensive side with their overall setup looking a little bit more clean, I would say, but it all really just came down to those individual duels. Now, let's say Rat Syndicate now going for a little bit more of a different strategy, then it will be a slight issue. I am wondering, though, whether or not they are going to be opting for a little bit more of a heavier hit here, as Yuki already bucking and trying to go in for the one shot. He's not going to be able to find it, though. It's going to be Agamir being able to find that opening kill over on towards the one. The Cypher with the spray transfer with the Spectre holding down the line. Homeboy able to get a kill. He's able to find his second. Never mind. Maybe there's a chance where they do get this round for themselves. And it's now up to the hero of the story, Paradox, with just a sheriff to his name to try and go in for this kill. Time in and time out. Paradox is the player that you want to see in these kind of positions. He knows what he needs to do, but if is just way faster on the trigger for that one, utilizing the crouch to duck under the bullet. As losers, they take the victory for this particular round, but this round for them was extremely expensive.
This was expensive, and the same goes for Rat Syndicate, to be honest, because I feel like this was an eco round which they had to deal with. But this is when the game even Stevens up once again, because now when Rat Syndicate will come again with their guns blazing, I feel like for losers, chances might diminish. But one thing which they are doing well is to isolate those fights, right? To isolate Rat Syndicate and their oppression, to try and take those frags one by one. Isolate those frags really well. This time UV has actually gone past the radar. Man has actually found his position. Agabir is down. Wow, that was a combination and a half. The recon dart, of course, coming into fruition. UV, that is dangerous.
Okay.
Man walks into a laid-in trap. Losers, they still have two of their players up, but I feel like getting this round back is going to be really hard. And of course, when you have players like Paradox and Homeboy, it will be tough.
Absolutely. Yumi's just there to create a lot of the space, and Paradox and the others are just there to fill it up and make sure that they are the ones to really get the kills. And the thing with Rat Syndicate, right, if you're able to slow down this team on that attack side, they can't really do anything, because don't forget, Close Smokes are she's pretty much the only agent in the entire game whose smoke lasts for such a short time compared to all of the other controllers. So if you're able to slow them down over to a crawl, then the Clove's just not going to be able to get proper utility anymore to cover up those high ground positions. It's all really going to be dependent on whether or not the members of Losers can bring them down over to a crawl, and it doesn't really seem to be the case. Odin did come out here to try and stop them from taking an over-aggressive position, but finally, we do see signs of life coming in from the members of Losers here. Homeboy knows the position of one of the players, tries to run on away and maybe go in for a rotation, but Velgax instantly gets a catch on towards him, and now it's all up to UV to try and go big here. Knows the position of one of the players, but doesn't really have the weapon to try and make this fight work out for himself. 12-4 now as Losers, they take another round, and they have a little bit of a saving grace, I would say, but not by much.
I mean, again, if you're considering Losers and their professional career, these players who are playing maybe competitive Valorant for the first time, that is a good enough score, to be honest. Look at this now, 12-4. Sure, it does not look like one of the best outcomes that you could possibly ask for, but you've also got to remember you're playing against tier 1 players from the country right now, and to get actually 4 rounds against them, that is not bad, to be honest. You do not have anything to worry about. Just a few more tournaments and you might actually get a hang of it. But for now, Homeboy, who for sure has got a hang of those setups currently, who dashes onto Ayak. Cypher being deleted out of this circuit right now. Vilgax almost following Trey as well. Sinks is just absolutely going berserk. It's a 2v3 right now at this point, and F, as well as his comrade, they're nowhere near Rat Syndicate. They're waiting with open arms. Homeboy might actually suffer from this fault line. Yes, he does, but couldn't really connect the flick, and here he comes! Paradox with the final nail in the coffin. Rat Syndicate, they get this victory.
Yep. They still have it in them, and honestly speaking, it's just insane to see how much that they have improved over time. The members of Rat Syndicate, they are looking cleaner than they ever have, but yet they still have to be tested right to their limits. We don't know exactly what they're going to be capable of down the line, but here in the round of 32, it's kind of apparent, right, that stuff like this will happen. The skill mismatch, and a lot of the teams not really going to be able to match up to a lot of the greats that we have as tier 1 players, but it's a learning experience, right? This is what the Intel Gamer Days are here to do. Give a platform for these up-and-coming players to really see what you really need to do to be at the very top. And honestly, in this particular game, the one thing that we did witness was just pure confidence coming through from the members of Rat Syndicate. The years of experience that they have, and just them being like, hey, it's another day in the office. We're just going to play our game, and we're going to frag out of our minds and have fun.
Yeah, true that. And I think the Rat Syndicate, they were also playing like a unit. They're playing like Valorant, absolutely, like as a team game. The same can't be said for Losers, because again, the rounds which they've won, imagine this, their worst star performances, be it Vilgax, be it somebody else, stepping up from their side, maybe even Agambir as well. A couple of these players, they definitely have impressed me, to be honest. But yes, like you said, experience will always be a factor. And these players, they are, I would say, a couple of steps away from that tier 1 stature. But this is what, like you said, is going to happen. The mechanical difference is going to be there. I mean, maybe next time when Inter Gamer Days comes around, they are going to have a better chance. But for now, Rat Syndicate, of course, they are going to be moving on. And I think that, if I'm not mistaken, they will be one of the favorites to actually win it all as well.
Absolutely. I mean, it's Rat Syndicate, right? Chillcore's another big team that we have to keep our eyes out for later on down the line, ladies and gentlemen. I'm more excited for that one, and I'm going to keep on hyping it up until we do get a game where they are going to be playing. But with this game now put under the wraps here, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be jumping on down over into the scoreboards to just see what it looked like from a bird's eye perspective. And UV being at the very top here with a combat score of 277, considering that he did play a little bit reckless throughout the entire game with a shotgun in hand. Same goes for Homeboy. Not that big of a surprise that they're still at the very top. I'm very sure that this is not their full composition. I can 100% guarantee you that, because playing Clove on a map like Haven, if you're not in a rank setting, is I would say very, how do you put it? What's the word for it? Very God damn it, I can't even think of it.
Orthodox.
Unorthodox.
Unorthodox.
That would be, yeah. That would be the much more better word for it.
I mean, understandably so, but I'm actually not looking at Rat Syndicate, to be honest, because I mean, these boys are known for their gameplay. Of course, you look at the ones in red, actually, Vilgax and Agambir. I feel like they're gonna be happy with this performance. I have been in positions like these when in fact, my team gets bombarded by professional teams, and even when you lose to a score line, something like a 13-4, you feel proud when you actually have those double digits on you, especially Vilgax and Agambir. I feel like individually they were brilliant. Now, these are the players who I feel will step up in the coming days. You might actually see them in some of the teams as well, playing professionally. So if they do decide, they do have the skill sets, and if they don't, they might actually upgrade with some Intel Core processors, and maybe then they will become a professional player.
Absolutely. Make sure to check out all the links down below in the description, ladies and gentlemen, to see whether or not you are going to be the next pro players, because in celebration of the Intel Gamer Days, Amazon is offering up to 40% off on select Intel Core powered gaming laptops till the 31st of August. So make sure to check out all of the links down below in the description, because today you're going to get a couple of the offers and they're going to be disappearing. You never really know. So as we are going to be jumping on down and waiting for the next set of games, it is going to be none other than the side of Asterisk going up against Silence, so another high-profile team going up against the new guns for the scene. So I'm really excited for that one, but we're going to be jumping on down over onto a very short little break as we set everything up, and we're going to be right back with you with a lot more action for the Intel Gamer Days Valorant. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, with the Intel Gamer Days Community Cup for Valorant, as we are now here for the last and final game of the day. First initial game did not happen, with an FF coming in from the side of Hades, with the members of Chillcore being able to move forward. Rad Syndicate taking a very dominant 13-2 scoreline for themselves for game number 2. And with game number 3 now rolling around, I'm really excited for this one because Asterisk, they're going to be the ones to take center stage for this one.
Now, I want Aggressive to fill me up with the information how well are these teams equipped, because the last game certainly was a mismatch in the way of form, mismatch in the way of experience. I'm not sure about this one. In fact, I would actually like to find out when we actually head into the game. Asterisk sounds like a team that I've heard of. In fact, it sounds like a team that I've
I'll tell you one thing. They have Caramel on the team, so I'll leave it at that.
Lord Caramel is back, or what? Lord Caramel is back. Let's go.
Yeah, they also have other really good players on their team. So, like, in general, you already know that this is going to be similar to what happened in game number 2. But I do believe that Titans, they have a couple of those up-and-coming players that I kept my eye on from the Tier 3 scene, and now they're finally able to make a good foothold here. But it's going to be tough going up against Asterisk.
For sure, man. And, taking hints from the game that we just saw, and if those boys were actually looking at the stream, I feel like the biggest difference is going to be the way you combine the agent utilities. Once again, we are going to be on the map of Haven, so it is going to be almost similar, but the compositions...
double controller.
We go with double controller on Asterisk, but meanwhile on Titans, we actually go with a double initiator composition. Now, Sky and Sova, I'm not sure how useful the Sky is going to be on the map of Haven, but for sure, the Omen and Viper, yes, you have a lot of space to work with.
Absolutely. This is going to be a pretty difficult one at that for the side of Titans to go up against. But I do believe that having the Sky might be a boon in disguise when you think about it, because with Little Boy playing that Viper, it will just allow the Sky to now have a little bit more space to utilize those guiding lights a bit better. You can go in for better pop flashes and maybe take engagements a slight bit easier going up against the Viper. And in a lot of scenes, especially in the other regions of Europe and America, we have seen Sky have a slight upsurgence for some teams, because Sky is one of the biggest counters to Viper, I would say, because of the way that he can utilize those pop flashes. But Phoenix does a better job at that in general. So it's like that cat and mouse game, right, when we always talk about it. So I'm really excited to see what Asterisk is going to be pulling off here, because they are a squad that you should always have your eyes on, because they're the ones who are trying a lot more of those innovative strategies, and for them it's been working wonders in all of the other leagues.
And Yash starts with a double. I mean, kind of really expected that, to be honest, but now Daddy, this is an opportunity for them to strike. Comes in with 2. Jinko with that shot that was brilliant, but I feel like one of their players has actually been cornered. Daddy in the seaside all by himself, and this is where the defenders can actually come to fruition. Jinko! Wow! Love that.
I mean, it is a pistol round after all, so for the members of Titans, this round for them, they started off on the wrong foot with losing out on 2 of their players, but the fact that Daddy on the back of side was just able to find those 2 frags up, it was just complete and utter isolation coming in from their side, especially with Jinko being that perfect foothold for the push coming in from Garage. That was all that they needed. Good utility usage overall and good sense of positioning from the members of the Titans. They did not panic under the pressure and try to scramble around to try and find trades, but instead they kept their heads calm and played for the positions that they were known for. But now going again, this is a double controller setup, and what is the double controller setup good at? Isolating out fights, and isolating out fights is a lot more better when you have the stronger weapons in your arsenal. They're gonna start off on a slower foot, but knowing Asterisk, as soon as those ultimates come on, like as soon as they have the economy to make things work, these executions are going to be incredibly difficult to break.
Talking about executions, I mean, Tanjiro, I'm not sure if the position is actually going to be good. They've kind of given up on the A side, but he's still kind of slowly holding out the hunker. But now look at this, Yash. Just kind of left there unprotected. This man finds that point blank range with the shotgun. Once again, this guy needs those flashes in to kind of help the rest of the players step inside. Tanjiro from upstairs as well has been doing pretty good over there. will find a couple of those information points over there. Tanjiro comes in with the triple, ladies and gentlemen. Moon Melter. Wow, I love this name to be honest, but will he find that last track? Yes, he does.
Oh my
Easy
god, that was a
second
little bit
round
too
for
close for
Titans.
comfort. Imagine if the Sova ran away there. Imagine if. There is a reality where they could have won that round.
Of course, man. There's a reality for everything. There's a reality for where actually losers won against Red Syndicate, but the point is still being the same. It was an economy round for Asterisk, but still the damage I feel like has been done. I mean, you drop 4 weapons from the opposition team who are actually carrying forward. I think your job kind of becomes much easier when you actually come in with all weapons loaded, and this is what will happen in this round. I want to find out if Moon Melter can actually hit a couple of his shots. Landing them will be difficult, but now look at this. Asterisk, just like usual, trying to barge down that A gate, and here they come. Jinko has been absolutely destroyed, and that too through the walls. And A side is completely under their control.
That last round was so expensive for them, losing out on so many of those big weapons with only the Outlaw being the thing that just came through from that last round. I do believe they're opting for a full-on safer, with none of their players really opting to go in for a buy. So for Asterisk, now that they've gotten themselves in towards the side, it's all about utilizing your utility and just slowly isolating them out. This is the power of the double controller setup, ladies and gentlemen. This is how strong this composition can be for this particular map. And with the sprayed rounds and the smokes being utilized to its fullest, you can see exactly what the strength of this comp is going to look like moving forward. Yes, the members of Titans are going to be able to go in for buys, but they also need to understand, if they want to counter Asterisk here, they need to stop them from entering into the side. This particular comp, you never play for retakes, and unless Titans are able to figure that out in this buy round, Asterisk, they could snowball this lead out of control. If they allow this Killjoy to get that Killjoy lockdown, the Sova's already gotten the Hunter's Fury online as well, so this is gonna be tough unless and until they're able to put a full stop to what Asterisk are trying to go for.
The recon that does come through, and I feel kind of bad for Tanjiro, to be honest, because that man is trapped. Ebon though finds Daddy with the Hunter's Fury, will lead that man advantage, but as of now, Asterisk not really jumping into the bandwagon, selecting off that side and dashing on towards it. I love the fact that Titans also kind of have spread themselves thin, because they know the matter of fact that now already with the man disadvantage, they wouldn't really be effectively be covering all the sides as of yet. Caramel, you were talking about this lad, has control over the A short region, but that is where none of the players will try and backstab from. Now, all I'm left to see is how does Titans battle this, because they have good amount of utility set. They have that recon data with Jinko. They've got those path flashes with the sky as well. Enough reconnaissance for you to actually get your retake done. But will they execute it?
Ah, yes. You know, this is why I hate this composition on this map. There was a time, right? I don't know if you remember or not. Back in the day when we were doing all of the other tournaments, right? I used to tell you I wanted to see Viper on this map, and I still remember that Chris was laughing at me every single time when I mentioned that. Now that Viper is finally in the meta, this is where a lot of people are starting to figure out that, hey, Viper is such a strong agent in particular. You just need to have the creativity to make it work. And Asterisk are doing that beautifully. She is like the premier controller to have in any team that's going to be running double controller. Harbor does the exact same thing, mind you, but still Viper is a lot more utilized compared to him because of one key reason. Her wall doesn't affect teammates, while Harbor's wall does.
It's been a long time I've actually seen Harbor as well. I mean, gone are those days of Icebox where Harbor used to be the main pick, but focusing on this one right now, Titans versus Asterisk. Now they have complete control of the seaside, but that was a delete. Caramel, 2 shots, 2 men down. This man is not looking to well. Talking about stopping, it's the Titans who are falling as of yet. Only one man who's still alive. I'm not sure if the Cypher is well equipped. In this shot, if he connects one, but that's all she wrote for him. He's gonna get deleted from the server yet again, and like I said, the biggest challenge for Titans will be to combat Asterisk when they come with their guns blazing. And this time, they're in max credit.
This is just where the reality of the situation lies. The members of Asterisk are just running into a lot of these sites for free. And then the 2 rounds, sorry, that the members of Titans were able to play for is the rounds where they just didn't allow the members of Asterisk to go in for a post-plan situation. That is the biggest strength of Asterisk right now, them breaking into these sites. And if they're able to do so, that's where they're going to be able to go in for the full-on setup, especially with Little Boy getting such a good lurk off in for the initial opening. Yash is going to be able to find that first kill over towards Zaddy. And now this is where the real problems will start to arise here. Down on this 4v5, the rotations are going to be coming through. They have no idea where the players are going to be playing for, but with the lurk now taken out, with the Viper no longer being on the table, this could be the saving grace for the members of Titans to get around for themselves and play for that equalizer.
It's going to be difficult for Tanjiro, to be honest, because now he's cornered all by himself. Riptide does come in to kind of protect this lad, but especially with all 4 players of Asterisk just being hunkered down in this one corner, especially with the Killjoy ultimate being activated as well, I feel like this is Asterisk and their game. Riptide needs to run, but he won't be able to. Man just got deleted over there. Once again, another easy duel for these lads. Yash, look behind you, man. He did not check it. Neither did the Sova shoot him. What on earth am I witnessing, Titans? They are definitely falling for sure, but Moon Mentor, I think he wants to save that operator. Won't be able to. Yash is looking for an ace right now. He's plain and simple looking for that ace. Will be denied by his teammate. Rising.
The casual
Love that.
This is what you want to see. The team morale being shut down by one single player. But hey, it's just Yash, right? He wanted to go in for something big, but he's just not going to be able to get it. But at the end of the day, it's all about understanding your limitations, right? The members of Titans now are really feeling that pressure. As soon as these gun rounds start to roll in, the members of Asterisk just completely evolve into a completely different team. Yash is running around scotch-free, and that's generally not what's supposed to happen in this double controller setup. It's normally Yash being that one scapegoat, I would say, for the team, where he's the one to make space and allow the Viper to get into those sneaky positions and just set up the Viper for success. But instead, Yash is just single-handedly able to get so many of these fights for themselves. Riptide does use the guiding light to gain some information towards the side of AMA. Now things are slowed down, but a fast swing. Yash goes in for something wide, and he's going to be able to find the kill. Weaker weapons in the hands of Moon Melter, not going to be the one to take out Karamo for this initial engagement. Jinko gets spotted out as well by Little Boy, and now the last player remaining will be none other than Riptide to try and pick up these fallen pieces. With Asterisk, 5 of their members fully alive and kicking, this is not going to be any easier.
One final man, Riptide. And Yash was just playing with him. I'm not sure. Toying with him. Something of that sort. Which does result to his demise. And Asterisk 3 rounds ahead.
There's nothing really much that you could have done in this particular round. It's just Asterisk just really bringing up the heat for these particular engagements, and going up against this composition. The problem is, if you have never faced a double controller setup on Haven, you will have no idea what to do up against it. You don't even have a breach to try and slow down their overall composition. This guy just doesn't do a lot for you in these particular fights. Maybe if they had a breach, this could have been a different story, but already you can tell this is going to be a bit of an issue. But Tanjiro, AIM, helping him out to survive that initial engagement. Finally, they put us full-on stop to the overall setup, but Riptide now trying to be the game changer for the team, with Risen utilizing the Into the Shadows to get deep into enemy territory. Knows for the position of one of the players. He's going to be spotted here. A little bit of a tough goal, but Riptide, he could have gotten that kill, but instead it's going to be Risen and survives. They have the full of the A side for themselves, as Tanjiro needs to go in for the rotation. He's just done for.
Man, at this point, Titans need to buckle themselves up. I feel like there will be an opportunity for them where they can tailgate their way to the opposition, find the little gaps, and they can actually counter it. They need to find that one chink in the armor, and finding that against Asterisk is definitely going to be tough. But this is where I feel like the ultimates and managing the economy will come into the picture. Titans will have to play the patient game right now, aggressive.
Absolutely. Be witnessing pretty much everything happen for the good or for the bad here for their team. There's Tanjiro now. He's to be the defense. As Yash goes in for the swing out. That's in. And the boy's gonna be back down to earth. Yash gets another kill for himself as well as they've cleared out the entirety of the A side. As once again, it's just free hunting season for all of them. They for themselves, and with the Viper Orb now being utilized, there's nowhere that you can run. Jinko does get the opening kill on a bare minimum down over to a 4v3 to go in, but the amount of utility in the hands of Asterisk is just way too much that they need to break through.
Two players inside the smoke, the recon, that is going to reveal both of them, and they just spray them down. Asterisk. At this point, it's like child's play for them. Finishing off rounds as quickly as possible. 7-2 is the scoreline, ladies and gentlemen, but it seems like Titans have been getting a beating since ages right now. And I feel like majority of the times it's been the retakes which is causing problems for Titans, because most of the players, they just get dumped into one side of the map. You have to have multiple angles, multiple points of entry when you're trying to go in for that retake. But well, it seems like there will be a timeout, ladies and gentlemen.
Will be a little bit of a attack timeout coming in here, ladies and gentlemen, from the side of the opposition here, but it's just a little bit more of question mark. I would say for one thing in particular is what's really going the minds of Titans for these particular occasions, because I said they are taking, again, it just boils back down to the ideology that I made before, that as a team, you want to try and put a proper fight against the side of Asterisk. You need to be the ones to take initiative. I haven't taken a lot of Asterisk throughout the entire map. One of the star differences that you will see from the Rats and this one is there's not enough aggression coming through from the members of Titan. And this has been like a over and over and over again. And unless we see that aggressive playstyle really come through, it's just not going to be working out in the way that you would have expected.
Well, I think Tanjiro is kind of getting repetitive with his position this time around. Asterisk being trying to blind spot him over there. This time the dash comes through. Caramel will find the trade for sure, and Lil Boy activates that ultimate. Now this is the Viper split that will be devastating for Titans yet again. They do have what I call is a man advantage, because they've got Viper split kind of nullifies the entirety. Good ultimate to actually secure that from Sky. Will get the positioning of majority of those players, but Lil Boy, he finds one, and in fact majority of his team finds one. Keep on with the Hunter's Fury. Will land a double, and that is how Asterisk will find their 8th. Yet again, those frags, those initial bits, not really paying off, because Titans, after getting those initial frags, haven't been able to pull off something, haven't been able to follow up.
Doing wonders here, pretty much from the side of Asterisk. They're just dumping their way in towards the side, and they have no respect for their opposition. And it's been working out well for them at the end of the day. The members of Titan, well, they are trying, but they have a proper read on what it's going to look like. Tanjiro, I have to give it to this guy. His aim has been pretty consistent throughout this entire flicks have been accurate, and its micro adjustments are what's really giving them a couple of those early kills here. But they're not going to be able to give you victory here with the headed. Eskimogen just catches out one as Little Boy gets the next. As Titans now are just scrambling to pick up those fallen guns here, as they still do have an opportunity this round on its head, as Jinko did get the bull itself, but this kill just now going to give them a lot of free space to play for, and their entire composition is just, hey, if we get into the side, we're going to be the ones to win.
The recon now definitely is going to reveal his position, but look at this. I mean, for Titans 2v3, I don't think they do have positioning to get this back. Pop flash once again will reveal the positions. Man gets outnumbered. Good stuff, Jingo. All by himself. Once again overwhelmed, but this time it's just little boy. 9th round on board for Asterisk, and they certainly are doing the job. Titans, what can you come up with? I need to see one round from you.
I mean, maybe one round might have, but they just don't have the ultimates to try and make it work, right? Because think about it, like with the rolling thunder, at least you would have an opportunity, but with the sky on this particular map is just not going to be working out in your favor. Well, the side just has multiple different ultimates so they can use a lot of these fights. Already, the overdrive have been utilized by on here. Their positions already revealed. The spot for Yash to be in. He tries to go in for the kill, and the one round out there for here. Salt is finally now coming. The members of Asterisk, they got bombarded by utility, and they were not able to break in towards the side. Titans, they finally, but a little bit too little too late, because that's what the defensive happened. Now you need to figure out exactly what the defenders are going to do. Where the is going to shine even.
Now, if we remember well, aggressive 9-3 was supposed to be a scoreline that is cursed. Is that still relevant? Is that joke is the 9-3 curse still relevant?
Yeah, it's still very relevant. Trust me.
I sound like a boomer, to be honest, talking about 9-3 curse at this point after so many years of competitive Valorant. But well, let's just go with the hunch. Let's just wait and watch what Titans have in store, because this time they have that fluidity. Now, with a composition like this, where you have two initiators, you will be able to direct yourself to multiple sides, but this time they're focusing on towards the C side. But Jinko gets picked off. An off-guard pick. They don't really have a reason to take that battle on towards Garage side, but look at this. Flash comes through, the flash from the Omen. Paranoia equipped as well. Caramel finds his double. And it's gonna be the last man, Moonmelt, who gets knifed out.
Oh my god. It's just salty. It's just, I would say a salty reaction, but never mind. I completely forgot for a second that your name was salty. I'm sorry, dude. But a little bit of assault added onto the wound here for the side of Titans here after what happened in that last round. But it's good to see that the members of Asterisk, they're not, you know, in any sort of less spirits after what happened in that last round. They're just going to keep on putting up the pressure here. While Titans, I don't think they have any idea what really happened to them in that initial rush.
Titans, what can you pull off? Tanjiro on towards that ace towards shot darts being exchanged from either side. Skibon knows exactly where the positions of these players are going to be, and now it's an absolute spray down. Laid the lives of all of those players in the graves, ducked them 6 feet under. An Asterisk. 11 rounds to 3. Seems like they're not going to give Titans a chance. So the curse has kind of been nullified. What do you think?
Yeah. It's normally the curse starts off and that 9-3 scoreline. You win the pistol, you win the anti-eco, and then you snowball that out of control. It just didn't happen in the way that you would have wanted. Well, the members of Asterisk, they're the ones running the high for this one. The weapons still in the favor of Titans. Yes, they can still fight into this round as they did get that 9-3 scoreline. There's still a chance they can come back into this, but it's still going to be difficult. You're going up against a double controller setup with not really a lot of things that you can utilize to try and break through these lines. Jinko now trying to go in for the hit, but an instant rundown coming in from the defenders from two different side lines, one from the side of the entrance and one from Garage. They tried to go in for the hit, but they were punished for it. Good answers coming in from the members of Titans, understanding that the members of Asterisk will want to play a lot more aggressive early on in the game. But now things are going to slow down over to a crawl. Shots missed out from the side of Caramel. A very, I would say, unorthodox way, because Karamel's not really the one to go in for over-aggressive peaks like this, but look at the positioning coming in from Risen. Kibojin, good for the opening kill. Risen, he does have the timing for it, but Tanjiro with the vandal just taps him out of existence. This is the beauty of it all. Ladies and gentlemen, down over to a 2v2, and finally, I do believe that the members of the Titans still have a chance of winning this round out, but it's going to be a difficult one to try and get.
It for sure will be a difficult one, but not impossible altogether. Titans, they will get a chance to plant the spike, especially with Caramel on 5 HP. I don't think Asterisk will be taking any further risk. 1 point away from the ultimate, but Keyborn wouldn't really be needing that as of yet. The spike will get planted. It depends on where does Titans defend this plant from. If they are deep within the site, I feel like Asterisk, they're going to eat them up. But if they manage to hunker down on those choke points, try and solidify their positions, I feel he's still got a chance. And yes, they do. Riptide is going to find Caramel. Keyborn finds his turn, but Tanjiro lands the final blow. 4th round on board for Titans. They've still got some strength of character. Asterisk will fall yet again, but 2 more rounds before victory. I don't think they've got much steps to take.
This is where it all begins here, ladies and gentlemen. Possible comeback coming in for the team. And it already starts with this 1 round. This is all that is required. And I do believe that Tanjiro is the backbone for the side of Titans, right? This is where their setups are really going towards. If Tanjiro's having a good setup, if he has a good position where he can really carry his team forward, then you can tell that this is where the team is really able to win. And these instantaneous trades are what they really need to find as well. With the ultimate now coming over to try and deal a little bit of damage. The opposite side here, Asterisk, they still are trying to break through a lot of the lines that have been set up damage side of Titans here. That's a lot being given away, and you need to be careful in the way that you go out one as the hit gets to come to the positioning, working in the fast track just for now, because they do where this side is going to be at. But with the instant rotations now coming through from the members of Titans as they're exploring the other different avenues of the map, it's all up to Caramel to hold line as long as he can, because his teammates are very far from his exact position.
Majority of these players are trying to kind of dash on towards the C side right now. Little do they know Caramel is already there. This man can spray them down. Finds one though. There's still 3 players on their feet, pretty healthy as it seems, but with Snakebite can be crucial. The recon as well will reveal both the players. Look at them go. I love this teamwork coming in through. And this is what you do, like the utility coming in from one guy, while the rest just all in position, in the right place, at the right time, knowing exactly what to do after that. Beautiful combination from Asterisk, which wins them their 12th round.
Gonna need to see where they're gonna go with this one now, because Titans have kind of lost their mojo for this. If they did win out on that last round, there was a good chance they could have mounted a possible comeback here. But now that Asterisk, they're the ones in the lead, they're the ones in the foothold, and a little bit away from their ultimates as well. If they lose orb control here, Titans, this is going to be a tough round for them to go on back into, especially with the weapons that they do have in their arsenal now. They did lose out on so many of their weapons early on in those fights. Even in the rounds that they did win, they're not going to be able to establish a proper lead for themselves. Caramel already putting up the pressure, and with a sudden heat getting turned up in just a couple of seconds here, ladies and gentlemen, the members of Asterisk, they're just running them down. Tanjiro good for the double kill. He's got it for the trip. It instantly brings it back down to earth. 4-13 is Asterisk. They take this victory, and Titans, they just fall.
Wow. I mean, didn't really expect this to be this close of an affair, but imagine this. Both the games that we saw today had the same scoreline aggressive. It's 13-4 for both Rat Syndicate, 13-4 as well for Asterisk. Now, for both these two teams, the ones who actually ended up on the losing side, I feel like that was definitely a much needed experience, especially this one. I feel Titans, they looked to be the better outfit out of the two losing teams, but nothing compared to Asterisk and the experience.
Yeah, it's kind of stated that because, like, think about it. Asterisk, they have been playing in all of the other different tournaments. Yash has pretty much rising star for almost every single player. Like, if you take Yash's name, pretty much all of the other pro players will know him for that very particular reason. He just has that sense as the duelist player. He's one of those next rising stars to consider. And then you have the backbone for the entire team. It has to be Karamo, right? Karamo. We talk about this guy all the time. This particular reason, he has the aim to be a duelist, but he's on a sentinel, and that's where he's the most scariest out of pretty much any of the other players that I have seen. Whenever you put this man on sentinel and he's sitting inside of a site, good luck trying to break into it. They had 3 different sentinels to play for all of their different engagements. They had the Omen, they had the Viper to slow them down over to a crawl, using the snake bite, using balls, and using the orb as well. And then you could see on the attack side as well, they had proper setups, they have proper game plans in mind. All of it really boils down to, hey, can we get into the site? Yes, we can. That means that we're going to be able to win. This is the power of this double controller lineup. And if any team is watching this right now, even if it's a round of 32, take notes, because if Asterisk are allowed to do this on Haven, if you are not able to answer back in kind with your own setups and your own set plays, you're not going to be able to beat this team completely.
It's true that. And in fact, at this point, I'm just waiting for Asterisk to actually go up against Red Syndicate, because these two teams, they actually look solid, to be honest. Pretty well set for the off-season that is about to come, but I would want to see these lineups continue as well in towards the official season, which comes next year as well, because with the kind of teamwork that these boys are putting together, I feel like there's very less gaps for sure. Yes, these teams, the ones that they're fighting against, be Titans and losers, they're not that experienced, but the kind of Valorant that we got to see from both the teams, Asterisk as well as Red Syndicate, were perfect.
This is where the build-up is going to be at, ladies and gentlemen, and this is where the game is really going to, I don't know, take a turn for the worse or take a turn for the better for a lot of these teams, because we have seen 3 of the strongest teams in the entire tournament already. And don't forget, this was the round of 32, so there's a lot more other teams that we do have in store for you later on down the line. Tomorrow is going to be the round of 16, ladies and gentlemen. It is still going to be in that single elimination format until we get down over to the nitty-gritty of it from the quarterfinal stage. But for now, that's all that we have in front for today. Make sure to check out all the links down below in the description as well, because in the celebration of the Intel Gamer Days, Amazon is offering up and off on select Intel Core powered gaming laptops till the 31st of August. So if you want to get your hands on a very powerful laptop and get yourself into the server, and of course in these amazing tournaments, make sure to check out all the links down below in the description. And hey, I'm excited for tomorrow here, because we still have a lot more BO3s to play. Oh, never mind. I was wrong about this one. We have even more action, because it's going to be round of 64 now. And tomorrow's going to be the round of 32. And after that, it's going to be the round of 60. So there's a lot more BO1s to be had. Don't worry about the ladies and gentlemen, because the Valorant action is never going to stop.
Absolutely, Valorant action will not end. And of course, make sure you actually go up, check all the links in the description. You will find some amazing products. Aggressive, which one is your favorite out of them, though? Because I am looking to upgrade my processor, and it seems like Intel Core, maybe something like an i9 in my voice. What about you?
You never really know, right? Because all of those different deals are all down below in the description. If you want to get yourself that powerful laptop to make your work and of course your gaming go to that next level, links down below in the description. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be all that we have for you for today here. And thank you all for stopping on by for this incredible first initial stream. There's a lot more Valorant action to be had, so make sure to hit the like, hit the subscribe, and also hit that notification bell so you get notified when we do go live, because tomorrow the Valorant action is just going to keep on continuing. But for now, that's all that we have for you for today with your boy Aggressive, and of course all these signing on off, and we're going to be seeing you tomorrow with a lot more Valorant action for the Intel Gamer Days Community Cup. Good night and happy gaming.